I want to talk about the idea of complaining, or more so, when you're justified in complaining about something. In order to have this discussion, you have to first say that complaining is not the same thing as whining. Whining is when you're complaining about something that you shouldn't be complaining about, like, oh, I want to have a snack, but there's no potato chips around, and I like potato chips. Or I like the sour cream and onion flavor, and all we have are the stupid regular ones. Or anything of that nature, something that's not worth complaining about. Complaining is when you have some problem and you're making it known that you have a problem. And if it's something justifiable, then, or not necessarily justifiable, I think that if it's a real grievance that is negatively infecting you in some way, then I think it's not just whining in this sense. I think it's something that is a real thought that's worth considering. One such example could be, I can't get a job that makes me more than $30,000 a year. Now, $30,000 a year, it's not bad in the real world. I mean, you can always you can pay for your bills, you can get food, you can pay for electricity and do all the basic stuff like that. You can probably pay for a 2-bedroom apartment and get all of your basic expenses out of the way. You'd probably be able to save some up. So overall, you wouldn't be in too bad of a place. Although it wouldn't be perfect. First off, you couldn't get too many luxury items. You couldn't be too loose with your money because you have to save in case if you find that there's something new that you need for whatever reason. Plus, you probably wouldn't have enough to afford health insurance reasonably. If you're only making like 30 grand a year, I doubt that the company would cover health insurance fully for you. So you'd need to do something on your own, and you're basically one bad accident away from being in debt. So there's a lot of problems that come with that. There's a lot of problems with not making that much money. So one could say that you're justified in complaining about not making enough money. But here's the situation. What if you're complaining about not having that money, and you're, say, in the same room as some person from Africa who works their ass off to make $1 or $2 a day to feed their 20 children on their little rice farm, or whatever they do to survive. They basically grovel or, unspeakable things, I guess, in order to survive. They're in a position where nothing works out for them. Every possible thing that could go wrong for them has gone wrong. And you're sitting here like, oh, I only make $30,000 a year. I don't know, that kind of sounds like you're whining from that perspective, doesn't it? But I don't think that it's really fair saying, oh, well, you got 30,000, you're good. That I do think that it's worth fighting for that, and I do think that if you're in a position where you can't, even though you justifiably should be able to, that's something worth considering. I don't know what I mean by considering, though. Does that mean that someone should do something about it, or does that mean that you're justified in complaining, but there's nothing that we can do about it? We can just hear you complain and say, yeah, you're right. The reason why I'm thinking about this is because I'm thinking about YouTube subscribers. Now, I'm a human being, so that naturally means that I am self-centered, and I believe I'm better than I really am. So, as such, I believe that I deserve more subscribers than I have. Right now, I have around 500, maybe around 1 or 200, I don't know, 1 or 200 come back and watch me actively. I can generally tell from, like, if I remember someone's name and I can check their feed, I can see if they like or favorite videos, or I can see if they leave a comment on my video, or sometimes they'll send me a message saying, hey, I like that video, here are my thoughts on it, because they don't want it to be in public. I'm starting to recognize a lot of names, so I know a lot of these people. So, I know that all of them don't watch my videos, though. Some of them may have just seen me in someone else's sub box, so they sub me, and they never watched me again. Some of them might have liked me in the past, but they don't care anymore. Some of them might have subscribed to me because someone recommended me, or they saw one video that they liked of mine, and then they never watched again. It's like, and I know that compared to a lot of people, I have a pretty big audience, but I don't know, it's not massive, I guess. And not even massive, I don't need millions of people. Like, if I had a few thousand people who would just listen to whatever I had to say, that would be marvelous for me. I would love that. I would be absolutely enthralled with that. But I'm not in a position where that's the reality. And considering how I don't really have any sort of focus for this channel, I just sort of talk about whatever I want, I doubt that I'll ever really get to that point. So I find myself saying, I don't have this, and I don't think I'll ever get it, so I'm complaining. But am I justified in complaining? Because I'm getting a few hundred views per video. And if I had a few hundred people standing outside my window saying, hey, say something, we want to listen, we care about your opinion, we want to sit here and watch you rant about nothing for 7 minutes. By the way, have you noticed that I can't make videos under 5 minutes for some reason? I just crossed the 5-minute mark now. And I can't be more concise. I don't know why. I think that's why people aren't watching. But whatever. That's not what matters. What matters is I get hundreds of people listening to what I have to say every time I make an upload. And that should be great. Or let's say you have a comedy channel or a music channel and you make this original content and people come to you, hundreds of people, they say, we love you, we want to see more of that. That's not much in the grand scheme of YouTube, but if you're talking to someone in Hollywood who's trying to make it from scratch and like, oh, I wish I had hundreds of followers who would do that, you know, you're not in a bad position. Does that mean that you're not justified in complaining about it, though? Because obviously YouTube is corrupt, is not interested in promoting smaller channels. They're interested in funneling the same top channels because they feel like it's more profitable that way. I don't know. I don't think it's a good model, but are you justified in complaining even though you have hundreds of followers right now who most people would kill to get? I don't know. This idea of being justified in complaining about something or unjustified because it's excessive, I don't know what to think about it or at what point it becomes excessive.